Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my summer reading stats. At the time that I'm filming this, fall is just around the corner, as officially the first day of fall. I personally started drinking pumpkin spice lattes at the end of August. So yeah, so fall in my heart has started, but fall officially is about to start if you want to go by the actual solstices. So I thought, you know what, it's not too late to talk about summer. I would like to make this a regular thing on my channel, and what I'm going to be doing is ranking my summer reads and giving you a little bit of the stats, genres, and page count numbers. And so if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, I know I personally enjoy stats videos. I don't really know why. I think it's just anything related to reading and reading nerdiness I'm all about. I love hearing about other people's reading stats and what they've been up to. If you like bookish videos and bookish topics, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, and hit the little bell notification so that you don't miss any new videos. So across the summer months, which I am counting as June, July, and August, I read 10 books of really various sizes. I read some of the longest books that I've read all year and also some of the shortest books that I've read all year. And so out of those 10 books, my shortest book was Vampire by John William Polidori, and that was more of a novella, I would say, about 116 pages. And my longest book that I read was Bleak House by Charles Dickens, coming in at 945 pages. And so those 10 books came out to a total of 3,785 pages. Out of those 10 books, 4 of them were classics, and 2 of those were literary historical fiction, which is what I've decided to call a couple of them, because I couldn't figure out if they were classified as historical fiction or literary fiction. They're definitely both. So we're calling them literary historical fiction. I also read 1 science fiction book, 1 YA romance, 1 mystery novel, and 1 fantasy novel. So being kind of heavily leaning towards classics has been a trend for my channel for maybe a year or 2 now. I feel like I used to read a lot of fantasy, and while I definitely still love fantasy, for some reason my reading has really been leaning into the classics a lot more heavily in the last couple of years. So that all sounds about right, and everything else is just kind of a smattering of different genres. I'm now going to go into a ranking of the 10 books, going from my least favorite to my most favorite. And so coming in at number 10, my least favorite read of this summer is gonna have to go to Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. So Harlem Shuffle was, I think, a book, honestly, that I didn't get. I think this was for someone, but I don't think it was for me. I loved the setting. It has this 1960s setting in Harlem, New York, and I thought that the author really did a great job of putting you in that kind of very gritty setting, and I felt like the characters were definitely well fleshed out. What didn't work for me was really the writing style in this book, which makes me wonder if I would enjoy any other Colson Whitehead, but from what I've been told, this one is quite a bit different than some of his other ones. And so I will try him again, I think, but Harlem Shuffle, when I thought I knew the point of this book, and then by the end I wasn't sure if I was right. I think maybe this author was doing something different than what I thought they were doing. And that's all well and good. I don't feel like I was along for that ride and that I got a lot out of this book. So Harlem Shuffle is coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Once Upon a K-Prom by Kat Cho, and this was a group read for Christy and Tiffany and Yoon. They did a, what was it? The word will come to me. A readathon. We know what that word is. It was for a readathon all about Korean dramas, Korean tropes, and so it was called Kate Tropathon, I cannot talk today. So for Kate Tropathon, we all read this one, and it was cute and fun. I didn't really have anything revolutionary to say about it. It was fine. I think if I was a K-pop fan and I was a teenage girl, this would be the perfect read for me. I am neither of those things actually at the moment. Although K-pop could, I don't know, I could become a fan. I just need to dive into it a little bit more, but I'm not currently calling myself a K-pop fan. So I'm neither of those things, and so this was just fine. It was sweet. It was sweet, and I thought the ending was really cute. So yeah, if that sounds like a book that you would like, go for it, because it was a nice fun read. Ranking in at number 8, I'm gonna put Vampire by John William Polidori, and mostly more because it was just very short. I would have loved this to be a longer story with a little bit more depth into the characters. This is like the original vampire story, so I would have loved this to just be longer. I wanted more from it, and Christy, when we were talking about it, she pointed out some flaws in it, and I think with a little bit more exposition we could have fixed some of those flaws. So this is coming in at number 8. I really did enjoy it, but it's just a short little thing. At number 7, I'm going to put The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. This was my first Agatha Christie that I've ever read, and I'm so glad that I have a Agatha Christie under my belt now. I will definitely read more. This one is the first one in the Poirot series, and Poirot is not my favorite character ever yet. He has some annoying qualities, I would say, but as far as the mystery, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed how it all unraveled and how things were revealed, and yeah, this was just a fun time, and I'm looking forward to reading more Agatha Christie. In spot number 6, I'm going to put The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. I loved Edith Wharton's writing. I think I could be a big Edith Wharton fan. I just didn't love the story and where the characters ended up. I wanted a little bit more with what she did with it. However, I also did really enjoy what she did with it. There were some things that I wanted to play out differently, and that, you know, it's just kind of like my own wishful thinking for how I wanted things to go. But I don't think it was a bad ending the way that things wrap up. It's just not what I wanted. But I do see the artistic value in what she is doing with this book, and I can appreciate it very much, and I appreciate her stellar writing. Just the picture of New York at this time, at the turn of the century, and I was just so hooked for so much of this book, and so just the ending was not my cup of tea. So yeah, number 6. At number 5, I'm gonna put The Frugal Wizard's Handbook. I don't know, it's right behind me. What is that title? The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. Whew, it's a mouthful, but it is a fun read. Not Brandon Sanderson's best book ever, for sure. But it was a fun read, and I think I enjoyed it more than some. This one, you have to really go in just expecting nothing you've really read from Sanderson before. Like, he is experimenting in this one, and I enjoyed those experiments for the most part. I think there were some glaring flaws in it, but I enjoyed the different direction and the tone of this one. I think I would enjoy other books that Sanderson writes in this world if he ever did write anything else in this world. I think this one by itself, just it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible either. It was pretty solidly in the middle, upper middle for me. It's not his best, so I think if you compare Brandon Sanderson against himself, I don't think this is going to stand up to a lot of his other works. But as far as an enjoyable tale and a lot of humor in this one, I enjoyed the humor in this one, maybe even slightly more than Tress of the Emerald Sea. I don't know if I can say that officially, but I guess I am. So there was just a lot that worked for me in this book. In spot number 4, I'm gonna put The Moorland Cottage by Elizabeth Gaskell. Again, my problem with this one is it's just not long enough. I want this to be a whole novel. I loved The Moreland Cottage. I thought it was so perfectly cozy and also insightful, and I thought the characters, for such a short book, the characters were very vivid, and I was emotional about these characters. I felt strongly about these characters and what was right for them, what was wrong for them. I felt strongly about the justice that I wanted to see for our protagonists, and I just felt a very strong connection to this book. I thought it was wonderful. Elizabeth Gaskell's writing is fabulous, and this just made me remember that I need to read more Elizabeth Gaskell. In spot number 3, I'm going to put The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and this was actually a reread for me, as was, did I have any other rereads so far? So far not. So this has been actually the only reread I did in the summer. This is the first book in a trilogy called the Farseer Trilogy, and it is the beginning of the Realm of the Elderlings, which is a whole host of trilogies that are kind of tied together. Some kind of looser than others, but it makes, I believe, this big tapestry. And so I am just starting my journey. I needed to reread Assassin's Apprentice so that I could get into the second book, which I still need to do. I haven't started it yet, but I will. And this was pretty much just as fun as the first time I read it. If you can call this book fun, not all the parts of this book are fun. Many of the parts of this book are sad and difficult to read, but I really did enjoy it. There were some loose threads near the end that I would have liked to see a little bit more in the first book. I think some things are introduced that are going to be talked about later in the series, but in this first book, I just wanted a little bit more information about that. So again, my own expectations that I'm bringing to the book, right? So take that with a grain of salt. But I enjoyed this one pretty much just as much as the first time that I read it. In spot number 2, we're getting down to the last 2. Spot number 2, I'm going to put Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I think Bleak House is a special book. I think it is spectacular. It is not my favorite Dickens so far yet, but I think if I read more Dickens and I put this next to others, I think it's going to rank very well. Just as kind of a general assumption for my own reading taste. But I thought Bleak House was just really well done. I felt the length of this one. Charles Dickens can be very long-winded, and I felt that in Bleak House a bit, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I think this book is spectacular, and I think what we do with it and some of the experiments that Charles Dickens puts in here, that there's a mystery even at the center of this. So it's Charles Dickens kind of writing this mystery story, which, you know, worked in some ways and didn't work in other ways. But I still really enjoyed the journey. This book is a journey, and I enjoyed taking it. And that means we're at spot number 1. My favorite book that I read this summer was Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. This book I enjoyed from start to finish. I enjoyed the middle. I enjoyed everything about it. This is a new favorite novel for me, and I would recommend it to many different people. I think not everyone. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone because there's just a lot of perspectives in it, and I think that doesn't always work, and you have to wait a long time for some answers and for some ties to be made between the perspectives. But I think if you're willing to stick it out, I think this book is really wonderful, and it does some really cool things. I enjoyed the themes in this one. I think that's the main thing that I enjoyed, is I enjoyed the themes of this book. Our characters, though, I think there were some that I was more interested in others, which happens when you have like 8 different perspectives. I don't remember if that's quite the number of perspectives, but it felt like it. It felt like that many perspectives. So there are always perspectives that you like more than others. So I felt that one in this one too. However, even if I wasn't in a perspective that I was loving, I was still really engaged and wanted to know how this person tied to everyone else. And it's such a hard book to describe. Like, I'm trying to think if I should give you a synopsis, but it's very difficult to give you a synopsis. But if I could give you one pitch to try to get you to read this book, I would say that it's very much a love letter to libraries and to humanity's desire to accumulate knowledge and save knowledge and use knowledge for the future. And it's also very much about leaving and coming home and having an experience that makes you appreciate what you have and coming back home. And so if those themes sound good to you, I would say go for it. There's also mythology involved, ancient libraries, there are future libraries, there are present libraries. So libraries are definitely the centerpiece of this. And I think if you are a reader and you also like history and like seeing different parts of history and also thinking about where we've been and where we're going, I think this is a book for you. So yeah, that's the best I can do. I can't give you much more of a synopsis than that, but I just really enjoyed this book and I thought it was beautifully done. I like Anthony Doerr's writing. I liked the previous books that I've read from him as well. Well, just one, All the Light We Cannot See. I really love that one. That was a 5-star book for me. And Cloud Cuckoo Land is also a 5-star book for me. Just spectacular. All right, so those are my stats and my ranking of all the books that I read this summer. Let me know what was your favorite book that you read in the summer, if that doesn't seem too far away. I know we're already kind of deep into September, but summer was not that long ago. So let me know if you had a favorite book in the summer and what you're looking forward to reading in the fall. Thank you so much for watching today. I also have an Instagram if you would like to follow me there, and also a Goodreads, and I've also started a Patreon if you would like to support this channel. We have a Patreon book club called the Reader's Choice Book Club. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep reading great books, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.